Okay, so we're going to take a look at how to use a Chrome extension called Screencastify to record a presentation that you can then play back in class or use however you would like. Of course, the first step is to have something that you're going to present. So in this case, I'm using a fake ninth grader's account. So I've created a Google slide presentation. Open that up so you can see it. You can have obviously as many slides as you'd like, and our talking points, pictures, any of that kind of stuff. So let me just get that out of the way for the moment. Now, the next thing, up here underneath where you would X out, you'll see these little icons. These icons are going to show up anytime you're logged into Chrome as yourself. Now, speaking of which, in order for this to work, we're going to want to make sure that we're actually logged into Chrome. Not just logged into Drive like I am here, but logged into Chrome. You'll see I am logged into Chrome because right now it says ninth grader. If you're not logged into Chrome, what you'll see instead is just like a little generic silhouette of a person. And when you click on that tab, instead of having the name of the account that you're logged into, it'll just say you, and there will be a blue button that says sign into Chrome. So if you are looking at your Chrome tab and you're seeing that, go ahead and do that. Make sure you click on that blue button, sign into Chrome, and sign in using your maloneschools.org account. Okay. For one thing, it gives you access to certain extensions and things that you won't see otherwise, that you don't have access to because they're things that our district pays for. The other reason is because all of your settings will now travel with you to another account. So let's say you install Screencastify, like I'm going to show you in just a second, and then you go to another computer. If you log into Chrome on that other computer, it will automatically install Screencastify for you. You don't have to go through this process more than once. Same thing is true for things like bookmarks. You can see I've got some bookmarks here. Bookmarks will travel with you if you set it up so that you have a specific home page, that kind of stuff. All of those settings will travel with you, but you've got to sign into Chrome whenever you go to a new computer. Okay? So I'm already logged in. Now, the place we want to go in order to get Screencastify is something called the Chrome Web Store. So I'm just going to open up a new tab here, and of course, I can always type it down here, but the address bar in Google Chrome is a Google search bar too, so I can just type it here. If I don't know the address, I can just do Chrome Web Store. There it is. And right there at the top, and actually I want extensions, not apps, so I'll click on the one here that says extensions. And I could now search. I could just search the store. You'll see it says Chrome Web Store. I could search the store here for Screencastify, but because I'm logged in on a Malone account, I'm seeing this little option here in the navigation for Malone CSD. So if I click on that, these are just some examples of different extensions that some teachers have liked, I like, that are sometimes useful, and a good place for you to get started if you're trying out extensions for the first time. Right there you'll see is Screencastify. So on this student account, I don't have any of these installed yet other than read and write. So all I have to do is put my mouse over it, and when I do, you can see Screencastify. It gives you a little blurb on it, how many people are using it, and there's a blue button that says Add to Chrome. So I'm going to click on that, and it says, do you really want to add this extension? And I will go ahead and say, yes, I want to add this extension. So now you can see I've got the message here that says it's been added, and the icon has been added as well. Okay, now this is the first time that I'm using this on this account, so I can close this Chrome tab now. I don't need that open again. I'm going to go ahead and open up my presentation. And because this is the first time I've used this extension, there are a couple of steps it's going to walk me through here. Once I've used this extension, I'm not going to have to do these things again, at least not on this computer. A couple of them might come up if I'm using it on a new computer. But I'm going to go ahead and left click on the extension. And when I do, it opens up a new tab. And what it's asking for here is access. It needs permission. Screencastify needs permission from you to be able to access your camera and your microphone. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, set up. And it's asking me, do you want to allow it to use your camera and microphone? And I'm going to say allow. Okay. And now the next thing it asks me is, okay, you've given it access. Now, by the way, we're not, what I'm going to show you here in a second, I'm not going to be using a webcam. I'm not recording me personally. I'm actually going to be recording my screen, but that's okay. We needed to go through that step so that I could actually add my voice as well. The next thing I need to do is tell it, all right, when I make a screencast, when I do a recording, where do I want to store it? The easiest thing to do here is to store that to Google Drive. Okay, so I'm going to store that to Google Drive, and it's asking me, okay, you have chosen to store your recordings in Google Drive. Do this, you need to sign in with your Google account. In other words, it's saying we need permission. This extension needs permission in order to be able to save things into your Google Drive account. So I'll click on that button. It's going to open up a new tab for me. There's that account, that fake ninth grade student, so I'll just click on that once. And it says, okay, Screencastify would like to know who you are on Google. It has to be able to know who you are in order to find your account. View your email address. And again, in order to be able to send that email, or send the video rather, it needs to know who you are. Your email address is your username, remember. And then view and manage Google Drive files. And you're going to see why we need to let it do that in just a second. So I'm going to click Allow. And it closed up that tab. And it said, okay, tab recording is optional. Tab record feature requires optional permissions. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those optional. And it says, do you want to give it permission to be able to record a tab? And I'm going to say yes, because that's a tab over there that I want to record. So I'll say allow, and I'm done. So now I can just close that tab, and we're good. Okay? So as you're getting ready to do this, what are you going to need? Really all you need is a computer that's got Chrome in this case, and a microphone. And you can do this if you're at school. If you go someplace like, for instance, the library computer lab, you know, pick a period when there's not many people around, so it's a little bit quieter. Every one of those computers in the library computer lab has a set of headphones, and those headphones all have built-in microphones. They've got the little mics that you can bring swivel down by your mouth. So you can use any one of those. And again, you can, a lot of teachers have those too, so even if you're doing it in your teacher's room, they probably have a headset mic combo that you can use. So now all I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and not do it that way. The first thing, I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and left click on Screencastify again. And remember, we already went through the setup, so this time it doesn't open up a new tab. Now it's asking me, okay, what do you actually want to do? I want to record my desktop, so in other words, it's recording this. The microphone select, you'll see here I've got a couple of different microphones. This is the one that I'm using right now, so I'm going to select that one. This box, System Audio, means if you added music into your presentation or there are sound effects in your presentation, if I don't check that box, then none of that is going to make it into the video. So you probably will want to leave that box checked. And then the video part, here I do have a webcam that's attached to my computer, but I don't want that webcam in the video, so I'm just going to leave that unchecked. If you do the show preview window, it's just going to show you a picture of what it's recording, but in this case, because I'm recording this tab, I'm going to be looking at the tab anyway, so I really don't need a preview box showing me that tab. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click record desktop, and it's going to ask me which screen do I want to record, and I want this one right here because that's where my tab is. All right, and so I'm going to hit share.
3, 2, 1.
Now you'll notice, because I'm actually using a different piece of software to record, now I've got the red dot up here, so it's actually recording. What I would have done was, while I was hearing that 3, 2, 1, I would have quickly come up here and hit my present button, and then I would have been ready to go. So when I got to the 3, 2, 1, I'd be able to start talking. What I did was, in this Google Slide presentation, I went in and added animations just to the text down here. So as I'm talking, I can click my mouse and I can bring those bullet points in one at a time. So I'm talking. Again, it could go on to the next slide, whatever I want to do. When I'm all done and finished with it, I can just come up here and I can left click and say end recording. Okay.
Now
So-
you'll notice because I'm actually using a different piece.
Ooh, we're going to stop that. So now it's already told me, you can see here, that I have an untitled screencast. That's this screencast. And it says it's already uploaded it to Google Drive. So let's see if that's true. Let me come over here to my Google Drive. Now, you might notice if you were paying attention before, there was no folder here called Screencastify. When I gave it permission to access my drive, this is why it wanted to be able to do that. So it could create this folder, and now inside this folder, it's not there yet. It's still uploading, but eventually inside this, when this video is done processing, and it sometimes takes a few minutes to process, but we're going to have a video file inside that folder of that presentation. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second, and then I'll come back when that video file is actually ready. Okay, so it's only been a couple of minutes, but now if I go into that Screencastify folder, you'll see here's untitled screencast. By the way, don't panic, because when it immediately shows up, if you try double clicking on it, you're going to get a message about how it's not ready yet. That's just once it's in Drive, Drive still has to process the video. Now though, because I've given it a couple minutes, if I double click on it,
Now you'll notice because
it'll actually play in a preview window right here in Drive. That preview window probably looks pretty familiar to you because it's the same engine that YouTube uses, because of course Google owns YouTube, so it's the same software that runs YouTube. Couple things that I'm going to want to do now. First of all is probably not want to leave this as untitled screencast. So if I right click on it, one of the things that I can do right here halfway down that list is rename it. So I could call this my French presentation. Click OK. All right. Now the next thing that I'm probably going to want to do is to share this with my teacher so that she will have all of these and be able to just kind of go down through the list, and instead of all of us, her students, having to log into our accounts up on the presentation center, if we share these files with her, she can have her account up on the presentation center and just go down through the list of movies that we have shared with her. So again, probably you're familiar with this, but just in case, I've got like a lot of things in Google, there's more than one way to do this. So just like I right click to rename, I could right click and do share. If I just click once on the file to select it, and again I know it's selected because it's got the blue there, okay, and you'll notice up here that when I click on and off of it, different options show up. So if I have that selected, then that little person with the plus sign, that's the share button also. So if I just click share and I start typing in Rabidoo, okay, remember all students in the district, their username starts with a number, the year they're graduating. So if you see a username that doesn't have a number, you know that's a teacher. And there's Madame Rabidoo right there. So if I go ahead and just click on her name, and then I click the send button, this video will be shared with her. So the next time she logs into her Google Drive, she would just be able to go to shared with me, and she would have a list of those videos right there ready to play. All right. So hopefully that's useful for you, and as always, don't hesitate if you run into any problems with this. Go ahead and contact me directly. My office is in 221 at FA, so it's right at the top of the stairs by the auditorium. You can also shoot me an email. I'll put the email address right here, right now. So get in touch if you run into any problems.